Uh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey there, welcome to Ask TJ About Marketing. I'm your host, Terry Johnson from Terry Johnson Online. I'm a marketing specialist and I have several years' experience in marketing research, marketing strategy, and advertising. So, we're here today to talk about basic marketing questions that you may have, and you want to get that information because you want to grow your business or your brand online, on social media. Everybody's doing that right now. So you may have some marketing questions that you need answers to. So this is the place where you'll get those answers. So let's get right into today's question. Are you ready? Here it is. So I believe I said earlier this year that this was the year of content. And I said it was because of ChatGPT and other tools. There's so many. What it is there's so many new tools coming out that no one can keep track of it. So this guy that runs the futuretools.io, he tries his best. Even he has admitted, like, he can't keep up with it. So there's so many tools and so many things coming out. So what that indicates to me, or says to me, is that we're going to get to the point where these tools are going to make content like that. I mean, they already are fast. They're going to get faster. And I think I mentioned that the apps that we use, we're going to incorporate these AI features. That's what we're living in right now with content, making content. So let's back it up a little bit. So what I'm trying to say is that content is it a commodity? We talked about this content as a commodity. Remember, we talked about it, and I said that sugar, it used to be when sugar first was manufactured, it was a thing. Wow, sugar, because it was hard to come by.
Right.
Now, do you go to this grocery store and marvel over sugar? No, you just pick up whatever's on sale. But that's when I was getting to the point that it's so generic that you shop by what? Price.
Exactly.
But there was a point when sugar was a commodity. Sugar was not a commodity. It was, I'm trying to think of the word, that it was precious, hard to come by. There's a word for that, and it's escaping me.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't have sugar.
Nope.
If you know Little House on the Prairie, I'm talking about the books, not the TV show, which was a series of books by Laura Ingalls Wilder. And I loved those books as a child. And in the books, I remember she was talking about going to the general store, like they would get in a wagon and go, and sugar was a precious thing. Like when they bought, it was like, oh, mom bought sugar. Can you imagine?
Right.
Because it was hard to come by.
Fun fact, sugar was only sold in the drugstores at one point.
Really? I didn't know that.
Because it was considered, they just didn't. Where was the penny candy?
Yes, penny candy. So in these books, she's talking about when her family, they left the East Coast, which was civilized, and they moved to the West, which was undeveloped country. So they wanted to go out there and get their land and state their claim and build their homestead and all of that thing. And she talks about these things fondly because they weren't something that they had every day. Like her mom didn't go and make sugar cookies or the things that we do now.
Right.
Like who even thinks about sugar? There's no sugar's not around. It's like one of those things. So to hear her talk about it in a time when it was a precious item, almost like diamonds, sugar. Can you imagine? So now we are at this point now where we used to fuss around making content and pulling our hair out. Well, what do we say? What do we do? How do we? The tools will evolve, and they're evolving rapidly to the point where we won't have to even think about content. It will be like sugar, it will be flour, it will be butter, it will be bake, all of those things that we go, it's sugar. It's not anything special or precious, where content used to be special, because now, and I don't know if you see it. Has anybody seen it? Maybe I'm the only one, but has anybody felt what I'm feeling about the content, the way it's going?
Look, if you don't have content right now, it's because you didn't have an idea or you didn't express an idea. It is so easy right now to get content, because I tried Chat GPT with there was something that I wrote in my notes for a blog. I wrote my own notes. I copied my notes and put them in Chat GPT and asked it to simplify this.
Right.
And it did. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good. But they were my thoughts.
Yes.
My notes.
That's what you're supposed to do with these tools. And I'm just going to tell you, if you think you're fascinated or afraid now, they are really going to do a job. It's going to be sugar. It's going to be, and you don't even think about it.
TJ,
because when you go to Facebook, and you know the prompt, what does it say in Facebook when you go, what's on your mind?
What's on your mind?
Let me go and check, because they all say different things. Like Facebook says, what's on your mind? LinkedIn has something. So when it does that, there's going to be a button that say, I'm excited. And you press it, and it's going to spit out a whole post about you being excited about something.
And you put in the blank what you're excited about.
You won't even have to make a prompt. Because when we started with ChatGPT, it was like, oh, the prompts. Now it's going to be like, you're not even going to need the prompt. You're just going to put in a code word or a word. It's going to be set up to where you won't have to think about, okay, what do I say? You just have a keyword. So, I mean, what that tells me is that, how do you stand out? So let's talk about that. Since content is a commodity and everybody has it, and it's easy to make, and it's not anything hard to get, how do you stand out as business owners? We're not even talking about influencers or any of that. You know, talk about what the influencer does, because it's different from what we do as business owners. I always say that the influencer wants to hook in a brand or get a sponsorship deal or affiliate money, and we're not doing that. We're B2B and B2C, direct to a customer or a business. So it's a different level of content that needs to be created. Plus, as a business owner, you're running your business, plus you're running your life. So there's not a lot of wiggle room to sit around and contemplate and write War and Peace. Nor should you for your content on your social media platforms. They will have built-in tools. It will be a one button push.
Right.
Okay. So if everybody's pushing a button and getting the same thing, because ChatGPT will give you the same thing, almost the same thing, and the tone is the same. How do you stand out as a business owner when you're creating content with these tools? Because you don't need the tool. You really don't need the tool to make content, because you got this. Right. You got a hand, and you can write and talk, or a voice, and you can always say, if you're busy, speak it out into your phone. There's lots of tools that will translate your voice to text. Boom, there's your blog post, there's your podcast, there's your social media post, whatever little piece, your short, your YouTube short, your TikTok, whatever you're doing, your voice will turn into text, and there you have it. But what happens when everybody is making content with these tools and they sound similar? Because I see that. How do we stand out?
While we are enumerating on that question, William said it's the best thing since filled sticks.
Hey, William. So, I mean, I'm just like, I always say before ChatGPT and after, I'm like, don't take my ChatGPT, like MTV. Don't take my ChatGPT away from me. I could live without it, because I have a brain and I have hands and I can come up with concepts and ideas. But the key to these tools, the AI tools, is they save us time. And
Yeah.
the saving of the time is going to get shorter to where it's going to be a one button thing in whatever social media platform you use. And I see William has great content, great comments content. You got great content too.
Yes, he says, I think the tools are still a data set of information, and we can still collect it and give our individual take on it.
Yes, he says are. And
Yes.
you're absolutely right. That's where you go with it. That's why I'm talking about a personal connection. Because now, if everything's a commodity and everybody has access to the same set of tools and they spit out the same, almost the same content, and you're going to what? Sound alike. You're going to sound like everybody else. Unless you learn how to fine tune the tool. Like you playing a piano. The piano has to be tuned or else it hits sour notes, right? It still will make a note, but it's off key.
Can I make this is an observation. Have you seen the people who are on maybe Instagram or different places? They have the same hairstyle, the same, they do the same eyebrows, they do the same everything, and they all look alike.
Yes.
And I mean, they're different people, but they all look alike. They all sound alike, almost like the Stepford Wives. But there are those who are online and whatever, but they have a whole different vibe than the people who look like the Stepford Wives. I'm talking about whatever culture you happen to be in, if it's the straight hair with the, I'm just saying you can see the sameness. And
you see the same. So that's what I mean when we were talking about a commodity earlier.
Everybody does their hair the same. They do the same wigs, the same everything, and everybody looks the same.
Yes. So let's explore that a minute, because this is going into fashion. So if a lot of people don't understand fashion or art, this is why. Because in that world, it's artistic, it's creative, and they never want to be like the other designer or be like an other artist. They make copy techniques, but that's a technique. Like with artists and creating different styles, like impressionism or cubism or what, there's a certain technique, but each artist within that format, they want to do things differently because they don't want to be like everybody else.
Correct.
That's the death of creativity, is, well, you conforming to be like everybody else. Everybody uses the same brush, the same paint color and whatever, but they create different things. So that's what we have to do with our content, and the only way to do that is with a personal brand.
Right.
Okay?
William says, I have mixed kids haircut.
A mixed kid haircut.
Okay.
Explain that one. Explain that one. Oh, Mark's here. Hey, Mark.
And Mark has a comment. He said, for the mainstream, the problem with technology that saves time is that instead of shortening people's work days to indulge in life, corporate overloads will use it to increase work and eliminate people.
True, but here's the kicker. We have tools now, available now, that if you don't want to be in a corporate cog, you don't have to. We're in an era where you can create whatever you want because of these tools, and this gets into mindset. You don't like your job, Monday morning rolls around and you're sick to your stomach. That is a sign that you need to find, and I hate to say this because it sounds cliche, find your passion. And what I mean is that thing that you would do for free. If your bills were paid and all your mortgage, and if everything was covered and you had no financial worries, all of that was paid, like it was paid up for a year or whatever thing you want to say, what is it that you would do happily? No one would have to force you to do it. For some people, it's painting, it's gardening, fixing a car, taking care of kids, whatever it is. We're in the era where there are digital tools that allow you to do that, but it takes work. It takes persistence, it takes dedication, and you have to get rid of the fear of, I'm not going to make it.
Right. So
that's a lot to overcome.
Right. And we talked about that. The lady who up and quit when she was on a Zoom call with her boss.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. The lady, and she quit on the Zoom, and all her co-workers, and she just started the job. So it was like I think it was like a probationary period. We talked about that. But she had already had her thing started, her passion, which was something about mommies. Something
about baby daddies and
mommies. So she already had a community.
And she was on there and quit her job in the middle of the Zoom call. She was like,
she was already making money. And that was one of the things that came up in the Zoom call. They was like, well, how, I'm not sure the wording. I have to go back and watch it. She's something about how you going to live. And she was like, well, me and my daughter, we're going to be fine. Because she already had this thing started that she loved talking about.
Right.
She's already on TikTok with an audience. She's already on Instagram with an audience, with her call to action. Go to my link in bio, and guess what was there? Things to buy, books and courses and t-shirts and mugs and things that her community want.
Right.
She'd already figured it out.
Right. William is explaining the haircut. He said there's a certain haircut you see for certain groups that have things in common. The military, the artists, the dads, the hard rocker, everybody.
Yes, we're getting into culture. Yes, we're getting into culture things where there's a certain culture, a certain group of people that when they hang together, they do things, similar things. Yes.
And some people, they gravitate to that and they pick up that vibe, and everybody looks the same, like the soccer dads all look the same. How do you differentiate yourself?
Right. How do you how do you differentiate yourself? That's a hard word to say. As a business owner, which we're talking about is a personal brand. Now, I don't mean, when you hear the word brand, it is not logo, color, this, that, and the other. We talked about this a lot. It is what you put out online consistently. It doesn't have to be McDonald's, Nike, or I'm not talking about that. Those are corporate brands. I'm saying the way you present yourself online as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, one person, whatever, mamapreneur, whatever you want to call it. I hate those labels. Whatever you're doing online, you're going to do it consistently. You're going to do it in a similar fashion. You got your messaging on point. You know who you're talking to. You know what you want to say, and you have a system set up to when those people come, the doors of the church are open and come up to the altar call. When you give the right sermon, do they come to the altar call? Heck yeah, those people get up. And that is what I'm talking about. So when you're effectively preaching online, getting people to join your church, your community, and you have a way to do that. And once they do that, you're not selling something fake. You're not being inauthentic. When they come into the altar, you whatever you promise them, they're going to get. Now, I hope this discussion that we had today about today's marketing question helps you in some way to better understand marketing strategy, and those things you need to do to grow a business or brand online with social media today. So these questions are designed to give you some basic information. So if you have additional questions, or you need a little bit more clarification, or you need some, you're not really sure, reach out to me, Terry Johnson Online, at terryjohnsononline.com, or go to your favorite social media platform and find me. Just search for Terry Johnson Online, and I'm on all the major platforms. So just reach out, give me a message, and let me know what questions you have, and I will try to answer them. Okay, so I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you next time.